Empires disappear, but movement does not. Roads survive kings. Routes outlive borders. This chapter is not about collapse. It is about continuity. This is ACHRONIC. History, geography, and power beyond time. ACHRONIC empires are often remembered by their borders, their names, their capitals. History presents power as something solid, something owned, something administered through institutions, laws, and commands. It suggests stability. It suggests permanence. But power is not an object. It is a condition, and conditions are shaped by forces larger than intention. They follow movement. Power appears stable only when movement is predictable, when the paths are secure, when access can be priced, taxed, delayed, or denied. But when movement changes, power changes with it, because power is not the center. It is the ability to reach the center. Not the possession of a place, but the ability to arrive there, to return, and to keep others from doing the same. This is why empires build systems before they build stories. Why they invest in continuity, not only conquest. Why they fear disruption more than resistance. A border can be drawn in a day. A route forms over generations. And once a route exists, it creates gravity. It pulls attention, resources, and authority toward itself. It shapes what becomes valuable. It shapes what becomes contested. Empires rise inside that gravity. They expand along it. And when they fall, the gravity remains. Long before empires existed, paths already crossed the land. Not because they were designed, but because geography allowed them to exist. Movement followed possibility. It followed least resistance. It followed what could be crossed, repeated, and remembered. Rivers carved corridors through terrain. Coastlines invited navigation. Valleys concentrated passage. Narrow passages reduced choice. These routes were not planned. They were repeated. They formed slowly, through habit, through constraint, through necessity. They existed before authority, before administration, before control had language. When an empire rises, it does not invent these paths. It recognizes them. What appears as expansion is often alignment. Empires do not create movement. They attach themselves to it. They stabilize what is already flowing. They formalize what was already being used. They place structure on top of circulation. Trade does not adapt to power. Power adapts to trade. Empires often mistake territory for control. They draw borders. They claim land. They measure distance. They confuse surface with influence. But territory without circulation is inert. Land alone does not generate power. Movement does. What matters is not how much space is held, but how movement passes through it, how easily it flows, where it slows, where it narrows, where alternatives disappear. To rule is not to possess space. It is to regulate access, to allow movement, to restrict it, to redirect it. Every system of power is ultimately a system of circulation. Control is exercised not at the edges of territory, but at points of passage, where routes converge, where access concentrates, where movement becomes unavoidable. Empires expand outward, believing control is a matter of surface. They measure size, they measure distance, they measure reach. But what they truly seek is not land, it is circulation. The ability to move goods, to move armies, to move information, to slow others down, to accelerate themselves, to decide who moves freely and who does not. When empires fall, Their borders dissolve, their symbols disappear, their capitals lose relevance, administration collapses, authority fragments, narratives end, power loses its visible form, but the routes remain. Paths do not collapse. They are not loyal. They do not belong to anyone. They wait. They are reused, reoccupied, reinterpreted. Movement does not mourn power. It adapts. It always has. Mountain passes outlive dynasties. Straits outlast empires. Rivers remain long after institutions vanish. What history records as collapse, geography records as transition. Not an ending, but a shift, a reconfiguration of access. Empires are temporary solutions to permanent constraints. They rise when they align with movement. They weaken when they resist it. Not because they are weak, but because resistance to circulation cannot be sustained indefinitely. Power does not vanish. It relocates, not randomly, not freely, along the same paths it has always used. Even when power believes it has ended, movement continues without acknowledgement. Roots do not announce themselves. They persist quietly, shaping outcomes without recognition. They operate beneath attention, beneath memory, waiting to be used again by whatever system follows. Roots remember what empires forget. They remember because they never needed permission to exist.